Welcome to BDO World Hockey. In this edition, we look in on two of the strongest national leagues in the world of hockey. In Australia, the men's and women's National League titles were decided, with a Dutchman leading the men's goal-scoring tally. While in the Netherlands, there were Australians in action as the Rabo League came to a thrilling conclusion. We'll meet Maggie Isaga, Argentina's inspirational captain of Las Leonas. And we'll go to New Zealand to meet talented striker David Kossuth as he takes to the water.
But first to the Netherlands, where Den Bosch has won the women's title in a clean sweep of their best-of-3 series against Amsterdam. Amsterdam scored first on the road in Game 1 through Sylvia Karras, but Den Bosch hit back to level through Mate Palmen. Then, led by former national captain Minchie Donners, they piled on 3 more goals to take the first game by a margin of 4-1. Game 2 was sudden death for Amsterdam at home in the Wagner Stadium, and they opened in style with goals to Jolanda Clemens midway through the first half and Sylvia Karras just before half-time. But again, Den Bosch had the strength and skill to recover. Donna's first penalty corner goal was lucky. Then Mate Goderi levelled the scores. And Den Bosch sealed the title in the last minute of the game when Donna's got her second of the day.
In the Dutch Men's League, there were some fantastic goals in the series between Oranje-Zwart and Bloemendaal. Carol Klaver started the scoring for Bloemendaal in just the second minute of Game 1. But the Orange and Black hit back almost immediately when Jay Stacey found fellow Aussie Troy Elder. The visitors found the net again through Klaver to lead 2-1 at half-time. But the home team drew level through Mikael Breckelmans, and the teams played through to extra time when the deadlock was broken by Teun Rohoff. Game 2 at Bloemendaal was decided by penalty strokes, with the home team wearing orange and needing to win to keep the series alive. It came down to sudden death at 5-all, with Xavier Reckinger's stroke brilliantly saved by Jaap Stockman to send the series to a Game 3 decider. Game 3 was played a day later, with Oranje-Zwart, or Orange and Black, wearing blue and white, but the colours were irrelevant on the day. Robert van der Horst reverse stick strike the first score just after half-time. Then within 3 minutes they were 3 goals up, with Aussie Troy Elder setting up Rob Breckers twice in succession. Bloemendaal got a consolation goal through Carol Klaver late in the game, but the day and the title belonged to Oranje-Zwart and their popular Aussie captain Jay Stacey. To Australia, where the final of the Men's National League competition was played between the New South Wales Waratahs and the Queensland Blades. It featured 7 Olympic gold medalists from the Australian victory in Athens in the 2 teams. And the Waratahs were boosted by the inclusion of holidaying Dutch star Take Takema, who was playing his first season down under. But it was local star Michael McCann who opened the scoring in just the 6th minute. And within a minute, they had scored a second through Eli Matheson. Queensland hit back hard, a goal to Nathan Eglinton to make it 2-1. Then Troy Elder set up an opportunity for Blair Brown 2 minutes later. Queensland regained the lead just before half-time, courtesy of International Player of the Year Jamie Dwyer. But the Waratahs stayed strong. McCann got his second from the penalty spot, and then a free hit by Takema produced the winner off the stick of Mark Harris. Takema finished as the leading goal scorer in the Australian series, and he's hoping to play it again, if he can find the time.
I really enjoy my time here, but yeah, it's quite hard because the international calendar is so full these days that it's hard, because I made a decision after the Olympics just to have some time away from it all, and that's why I went traveling. But yeah, it's hard in the year before the Olympics or before the World Cup, European Cups. It's very hard to find the gap that you can do it. But if there's another opportunity in the future, I will definitely try to do it.
The Australian women's title was a contest between the Queensland Scorchers and the Western Australian Diamonds. The Diamonds were the defending champions, but Queensland took the early advantage through Wendy Alcorn. The Scorchers had a second when dual Olympian Nikki Hudson found the net. And they went 3-0 ahead in the second half through Amy Corner before the Diamonds scored a consolation goal late in the game through Emily Halliday. The 3-1 result giving Queensland their first national title since 1997.
And still in Australia, a new job for master coach Rick Charlesworth. The former Olympic player and two-time gold medal coach of the Hockeyroos will coach the Western Australian Thundersticks in next year's Australian national competition. And this is the new stadium being built for the BDO Men's World Cup in Germany next year. The stadium at Mönchengladbach is located close to the border with the Netherlands. It will have a maximum capacity of 14,000 spectators with more than 5,000 seats under cover. Construction of the new Warsteiner Hockey Park is due to be completed later this year. The World Cup tournament will be played in September 2006. Argentina's Maggie Isaga is one of the world's most enduring international players. Now 31, Maggie first represented her beloved Argentina at senior level at the 1994 World Cup in Dublin, where she won a silver medal.
Maggie Isaga,
Since then, she's earned Olympic silver and bronze and a World Cup gold in Perth in 2002. After more than 210 international games and hundreds more at club level, she admits hockey has been her life.
I think it is everything. I think that all my life was always related to hockey, and everything moves around hockey. Although I graduated in nutrition, and I do many things, hockey was always first.
She credits her family as one reason for her success, having had their unconditional support through her years of school and nutrition studies.
It seems to me that it's, as we say, that the train passes by and you have to jump on. I was always able to jump on because I had my family with me. That's why I say that family support is essential. I know many girls that stayed behind, but perhaps things got a little bit more complicated and they were not able to become what many of us are today.
And while this inspirational leader of Las Leonas isn't yet talking of retirement, she is looking for the next generation of national players in Argentina.
Now we are doing clinics with ESPN, particularly at schools. This involves taking not only the practice of Las Leonas to school, but also the values of sports beyond the school. All the values that a team needs to be strong to achieve these results, and then inculcate them in schools, because it seems to me that this is the essence of sport, beyond the score.
Las Leonas are ranked number 2 in the world, with a galaxy of stars such as Isaga, Luciana Aymar and Cecilia Rognoni. And they have a legion of fanatical supporters. Now Maggie Isaga wants to see the new generation.
What I want to leave is a line. Look, Las Leonas are this, regardless of the names. That the day that I sit in a stand to watch Las Leonas, I want to feel that passion. It's as if you want to feel in there, and even more. But the older ones train as if they were the worst. It seems to me that it's an example for those that are starting.
And eventually she wants to be able to do what her parents did, watch their child play hockey.
But it is hard to quit the sport after such a long time, mostly when you were born with this. So I think that the most important thing is forming a family. And if in the future I have daughters, I hope they like hockey.
Coming up on BDO World Hockey, where are they now? Germany's Britta Becker, out of the sporting spotlight, but still facing the bright lights. That's ahead, but first, Master Coach Rick Charlesworth.
So what is coaching? It's more than just consulting to provide solutions and advice on problems. It's more than mentoring by a more experienced performer who has done it before. And it's more than counselling on personal issues to restore confidence, comfort and well-being.
It's all of those things and more. Coaching aims to create a learning environment and a performance culture with clear goals and direction. It ensures sound management of people while teaching skills and developing their interactions in a team environment. And coaching expects, requires and ensures, when done properly, the realisation of the potential of everyone in your organisation. It underpins the growth and success of your program. These principles apply whether you coach a junior team once a week, a school team, club team, state team or professional or national team.
Life after hockey looks pretty good for German legend Britta Becker. Becker was a member of Germany's silver medal team at the Barcelona Olympic Games in 1992. She was still playing when Germany won the Indoor World Cup in Leipzig 11 years later in 2003, retiring before the German women won their Olympic gold medal in Athens. She's also one of European hockey's best-known faces, having combined hockey and a young family with a part-time career as a sports model. Britta and her husband, German television host Johannes B. Kerner, are definitely a high-profile couple, happily married with 2 young children. Although Johannes recalls his marriage proposal was fairly basic.
Unspektakulär für jemanden, der eigentlich vom gesprochenen Wort lebt.
It was a pretty simple approach. I wrote her a little note asking, "Do you want to marry me?" Not a very fancy idea for someone who does a lot of talking most of the time, but Britta agreed and we're still married.
J sollte wohl Ja heißen oder Jein oder Jein. Auf jeden Fall hat sie es ja dann gemacht und sie ist nicht gezwungen worden und wir sind nach wie vor verheiratet.
With 224 international appearances for Germany in outdoor hockey, Britta Becker was bound to attract the attention of the media. She also attracted sponsorship offers that led to a part-time modelling career, one that continues today. Britta remembers her first modelling job.
Danach haben sich auf einmal ziemlich viele Agenturen bei mir gemeldet und ich wusste auf einmal gar nicht, was.
After the first shoot, I had several calls from different agencies. I was a bit surprised and I really couldn't imagine doing it. I was always a rather calm and quiet person. Then friends told me to go and at least give it a go. I agreed, and after the first few jobs, I liked it. And I could influence hockey in a positive way.
Britta's manager is Norbert Flippen, one of Germany's leading sports agents. He sensed her initial reluctance.
I made her meet people she used to be afraid of. For example, former football star Lothar Matthäus. And she realised very quickly that those people can be just like you and me.
Relaxen, ganz relaxen. Das muss ganz cool werden.
It's not so much about hockey, it's about forming Britta's personality.
And there is no shortage of personality. Britta has worked as an ambassador for major international brands, but has no desire to be labelled as famous or as a celebrity.
I really don't want to be famous. I haven't thought about it. To be recognised everywhere is not my preference. At the moment, it's simply a lot of fun.
And now that she's having fun, Britta Becker is quite relaxed in the spotlight, enjoying life as a young wife and mother with more relaxed sporting pursuits.
Still ahead on BDO World Hockey, the man who leads New Zealand's haka, David Kassouf, takes to the water. The Netherlands have moved to top spot in the Sahara World Hockey Women's Rankings after their win in the Champions Trophy tournament in Rosario. These rankings reflect the nation's performance over a full 4-year cycle, and the Dutch women are certainly consistent performers. Argentina's brace of bronze medals in Rosario and at the Athens Olympic Games have placed Las Leonas in second spot and within striking distance of the Dutch during 2005. Australia finished a disappointing 4th in Rosario and were 5th in Athens, but their third-place ranking is a fair reflection of the Hockeyroos' performance over the past 4 years. China hold 4th place in the rankings thanks to their semi-final appearance in Athens. Germany's women, the Olympic champions in Athens and the silver medalists in Rosario, are in 5th place in the rankings, but within striking distance of 3rd. And New Zealand's top 6 finish in the Olympics ensures they hold a similar position in the global rankings, although they are a long way behind the Germans and will miss this year's Champions Trophy. Korea currently hold position 7. They're ahead of England, who are in 8th place, Spain are in 9th position and Japan round out the top 10. In the Sahara World Hockey men's rankings, Germany are still on top despite their disappointing 5th place finish in Lahore last year. The Germans still carry ranking points from their World Cup win in 2002. The Olympic champions, Australia, are in 2nd place and within reach of Germany despite missing the Champions Trophy event in Lahore. The Netherlands, silver medalists in Lahore, hold 3rd place in the rankings, with any of the top 3 able to secure top spot later this year when all the teams meet in Chennai. 4th place is held by Pakistan, thanks to their bronze medal in Lahore, and they have a clear lead over 5th-placed India. Although a win at home in Chennai would be worth another 300 points to the Asian champions later this year. Spain are in 6th place as a result of their commanding performance in Lahore last year and could climb as high as 4th if they can repeat that achievement in Chennai this December. Korea are 7th in the world at this time, thanks to their silver medal in the Champions Challenge event in Egypt in April, while Argentina, who won the challenge, have moved into the top 8. New Zealand will miss the next Champions Trophy after finishing 6th in Lahore, but still hold on to 9th place in the rankings. And England, who finished 4th in Egypt, round out the top 10.
The Singapore national teams are in training for men's and women's Four Nations events in August as part of a grand plan to revitalise hockey in the island nation. Under the guidance of former international player Annabelle Dillon, the Singapore Hockey Federation has embarked on an 8-year strategic plan designed to have its men's and women's teams compete at the Olympic Games. Singapore last qualified for the Olympics in Melbourne in 1956, when the men's team finished 8th.
We know that this is a very ambitious target, considering that our teams are now ranked 30th for women and about 49th for men. But we believe that if other countries in Asia, especially non-traditional playing countries like South Korea and China, and of course our nearest neighbours Malaysia, have all made it to the top, within the top 12 rankings in the world, or at least within the top 16, that if we do get a proper plan going, a high performance plan, better coaching, more competition exposure, then possibly it is a realistic target.
In what will be an annual event, Singapore has invited men's teams from Korea, Hong Kong and Malaysia, and women's teams from Malaysia, Korea and India.
Okay, good.
The Singaporean players see it as a terrific opportunity. At just 20, Sean Lim has played 4 years in the national team.
I guess it's a good learning curve for us. I still consider myself like a youngster. Yeah. It's still a good learning curve for us youngsters against like the top nations of the world.
Our biggest hurdle will be, I think, that getting enough match experience. Getting enough match experience to actually come up to when we get to play these teams, because as you know, we do not play that many international tournaments kind of thing. So match experience will be a disadvantage to us. Our boys are not as experienced as I think the other teams kind of thing.
And one of the biggest problems the coach faces is the loss of 9 of his squad members this year to Singapore's compulsory national service.
This is a continuous thing that we will be facing continuously, because every year when our players reach the age of 18 or 19, a lot of them make their way into national service.
The women's team also faces challenges getting its full squad to training, but experienced striker Priscilla Koh believes the Four Nations event is a great opportunity for Singapore's younger players.
It's good for them. I mean, it's definitely like a challenge to them that, you know, if you really want it, now is the time to really prove yourself. Yeah, so I think it's a good opportunity for them right now.
The tournament will also be a guide for Singapore's coaching staff as they plan for the Southeast Asian Games in Thailand in 2007.
All these countries are having very strong teams, especially teams from Malaysia and Korea. They're actually world class.
It's a challenge the Singapore Hockey Federation is eager to accept.
You have to start off with dreams. You have to dare to dream, and of course, you then have to certainly dare to try.
The Singapore Four Nations event will be played at the Delta Complex in Singapore in late August. You can get further details by visiting the Singapore Hockey website at singaporehockey.com.
David Kassouf knows his way around a wakeboard. He also knows his way around a hockey pitch. At 27, Kassouf is part of New Zealand's national hockey team, the Black Sticks. New Zealand hockey is at something of a crossroads. With the women's team relegated from the Champions Trophy in Rosario late last year, and the men's team suffering the same fate in Lahore, the Black Sticks need to rebuild ahead of the 2006 World Cups and the 2008 Beijing Olympics. The Kiwis are missing the talents of leading goal scorer Hayden Shaw, who's left the team to focus on a cricket career. Kassouf is one of the players who's stepped up to take the team's penalty corners.
This time, Kassouf.
Goal.
Into the net. Came off the stick of Burrows. That was deliberate.
Over the last few years, I have found it quite important to get my flicking right, knowing that if Hayden may get injured, which he often does, that I'd have to step up and not only be able to flick the ball at the goal, but just be able to do the options which revolve around the penalty corners as well.
Kassouf has another important role in the Black Sticks team, leading the famous Maori haka chant whenever the team plays in international competition.
I was the one that put my hand up and yeah, just eventuated from there. But yeah, it's definitely an honour every time that we go onto the field, not just leading the haka, but just being able to get out there and do the haka.
Having been in the national team for 5 years, Kassouf is coaching juniors and looking to play in the 2006 World Cup and the Beijing Olympics. Beyond that, he has his sights set on a career in teaching.
That's why I want to pursue a teaching career. Started out a business studies degree, thinking to get in more of the marketing management sort of side. But after taking up quite a professional role as a coach, I've really enjoyed looking after the kids and taking them somewhere and helping them achieve their goals. And so that's one of the reasons I want to get into that teaching career.
And he wants to stay close to the water to continue his favourite pastime.
Getting out on the water, just love it. Being on the boat as well. I was brought up, my dad used to take me sailing every weekend, so just being on a boat is a huge part of me. So it's just getting out on the boat on that water.
The profile of David Kassouf on the Hockey New Zealand website shows where he finds much of his inspiration. He lives his life on the basis that whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right.
I heard it years ago when my first hockey coach, Merv Huxford, mentioned it, and he put it on one of his newsletters at the bottom, and since then I've just remembered it, and I fully believe in it. If you think you can do something, you'll definitely go ahead and do it. It's with hockey, with wakeboarding, if you think you're going to land a move, most of the time you'll go ahead and do it, whereas if you're not confident, you won't have that, you're probably not ever going to be able to achieve what you want to do.
Before we go today, more news from the international scene. And Australia has won the men's Aslan Shah tournament in Kuala Lumpur, beating Korea 4-3 in the final and finishing the series undefeated. In women's hockey, England has won the KT Cup in Korea, retaining the title they won last year with a 3-1 win over the host nation. The US women's team has hosted Australia in a 4-test series at Virginia Beach, with the visitors winning 2 and drawing 2. It was the first series for both teams under new coaches, both former Australian internationals.
We're putting together a really good side that will play in a USA style of hockey, and I think that'll get us over the line in the end.
We've brought 7 young players, all with the less than 5 internationals, so it's an experience gathering exercise from our point of view.
On the international calendar, the Rabobank Men's Junior World Cup is being held in the Netherlands in July. The Rabobank Women's Champions Challenge is being played in the USA later the same month. The BDO Women's Junior World Cup is played in Santiago in September, And if you can't visit any of those elite level events, there is a more social event planned in Cyprus in October. The Exiles Club at the Royal Air Force Base Akrotiri is staging a seven-a-side hockey tournament on 4 grass pitches. It's inviting teams from anywhere in the world to take part. For details, go to the World Hockey website or simply send an email to bdoworldhockey@worldhockey.org.
Coming up next month on BDO World Hockey, South Africa's top training town. We go to Potchefstroom, where top-level teams find the perfect training camp. And on top of the world, Olympic gold medalist Silke Muller at home in Frankfurt.